4.5 The Last Lesson, Alphonse Daudet. About the author. Alphonse Daudet was a great novelist and short story writer. Alphonse Daudet was born in Nimes, France. The father, Vincent Daudet, was a silk manufacturer. The Last Lesson is set in the days of the Franco-Prussian War, 1870 to 1871, in which France was defeated by Prussia led by Bismarck. Prussia then consisted of what now are the nations of Germany, Poland, and parts of Austria. In this story, the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine have passed into Prussian hands. The Last Lesson, Alphonse Daudet. The last lesson. After studying the lesson 4.5, the last lesson, we will learn meaning of the words, content of the lesson, different professions mentioned, past participles. Summary of the lesson. The last lesson. The narrator, Franz, started for school very late that morning. He feared his class teacher would question him on participles. The narrator didn't know anything about it, which may please his teacher. Hence, he expected a scolding from him. He thought of running away and spending the day out of doors, as the weather was very warm and bright. On his second thought, he decided otherwise and hurried off to school. As Franz walked past the town hall, he saw a big crowd in front of the bulletin board, which displayed all the bad news for 2 years. The people usually got the news of lost battles and other important information only from there. Usually, there was a lot of hustle and bustle when the school began. The opening and closing of desks and lessons orally repeated loudly in unison created a lot of commotion. But now it was all so still. He could depend on commotion to get to his desk without being noticed. But now he went in before everybody. He blushed and was quite frightened. But fortunately for him, nothing happened. No punishment. M. Hamel saw and asked him very kindly to take his seat. M. Hamel was in formal clothes that he wore only on inspection and prize days. The whole school seemed quite strange and silent. The most surprising thing was the presence of the village elders. They were sitting quietly on the back benches. M. Hamel mounted his chair and spoke in a grave and gentle tone. "My children, this is the last lesson I shall give you." He told them that an order had come from Berlin. Only German would be taught at the school of Alsace. The new master would join the next day. It was the last lesson in French. He wanted them to be very attentive. The narrator felt sorry for not learning his lessons. He never liked his books. He didn't have any interest in grammar and history. But now he developed a fascination for them. Even he started liking M. Hamel. It was the clearest and most logical. They must guard it among themselves and never forget it. It appeared that M. Hamel wanted to give them all he knew before going away. All at once, the church clock struck 12. The trumpets of the Prussian soldiers sounded under their windows. M. Hamel stood up, very pale, in his chair. He tried to speak, but something choked him and he was unable to speak it out. Then he turned to the blackboard. He took a piece of chalk and wrote as large as he could, "Vive la France! Long live France!" and made a gesture to them with his hand that school is dismissed. You may go. Click here to watch the lesson. New words. Sawmill, a factory where trees are cut up into pieces with machines. Cranky, bad-tempered, strange. Prussian, of, relating to or characteristic of Prussia or its people. Apprentice. An apprentice is a young person who works for someone in order to learn their skill. Nuisance. An act, condition, thing, or person causing trouble, annoyance, or inconvenience. Might 1. Used to express possibility or make a suggestion, express a polite request. Second, great and impressive power or strength. Different professions mentioned in the lesson. Teacher, blacksmith, mayor, postmaster, soldier. Past participles. Past participles are used for all perfect tense forms of a verb and in the passive voice in English. First, present perfect. I have finished my homework. Second, past perfect. They had climbed on the top of hill while trekking. Third, future perfect. You will have reached by the time he arrived. Fourth, passive voice. She has written the letter. Exercise. Question. What should people never lose, even when they lose freedom?